Have a drink with me real quick. One more. Here. To a wonderful Redbar. Cheers. Welcome back. I wanted to see this Chris D'Elia clip you were talking about this morning real quick. The fantasy.
Oh, yes.
Can we watch it real quick? Chris D'Elia's having fantasies about coming back to Hollywood.
Seems like
he's getting real confident lately. It's a shame that nobody cares enough to bring him down. Chris D'Elia wants to be back in Hollywood. Let's hear this. 2630 of the new podcast. Is that right?
I think so.
Okay. 2630. Here he is on the Congratulations Pod. Disgusted. All right, let's see what we got here. I haven't heard this one. Chris?
I mean, yeah, dude, that's great. I wish more guys were like this for real. Dude, if I ever make it back into Hollywood, which, if I do, I'm just gonna, dude, they don't.
If I ever make it back in Hollywood, you're really sitting around thinking about this. What right do you have to show your face and know Hollywood? I just can't understand why he can't just go, I blew that. I got to think of something else. He just really wants to be a Hollywood star with people adoring him. He doesn't care about movies and acting. He's not a movie fan. He's not into acting. He doesn't even try. But he wants he wants to be adored. He wants to be famous.
If I do, I'm just gonna, dude, they don't, bro, you thought you seen real? Oh, no. No. You haven't seen real until I get back into Hollywood, dude.
I thought it was if.
My shit's gonna be so real.
Whoa.
It's gonna be a fucking, they're gonna call me a heart attack. That's how real I am. Oh, here comes fucking heart attack Chris. That's how real he is. Dude,
so you can't even look at us during this.
Unless you want to get stuck off the realness. Do you want to get stuck off the realness?
Oh, I remember you listening to this in the background while I was getting ready today, and I was so annoyed. I screamed. I go, turn that off, because it's about, you'll see why. Listen to how annoying this gets. I was going nuts. Really, it was like somebody chewing into the microphone listening to what's coming up next.
What does that mean? Go ahead, ask me a few questions. Hey, Chris, what's up? Are you excited to be are you excited to be here for this movie? Nah, I'd rather see Sound of Freedom. Fucking, what's that meme where the glasses go over the thing and fucking 1, 2, 3, and the foe. What is it? No, yeah, where it goes, where it, dong, 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 the fucking, la da 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 da, that one.
Is this what was driving me crazy in the background?
It's this S&WP or whatever the fuck. La da 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 da. It's the D-O-double-G. Wow, you picked the wrong word to do it. Yo, Chris, are you excited to be here? Nope. Gong, la da 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 da, dunk, dunk, dunk.
And it was coming through these MacBook speakers. I'm telling you, the sound was so violent listening to this morning.
Dunk, dunk, shink, dunk, 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 dunk. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Chris, you excited to be back in Hollywood? Just excited to be getting that money. Don't really care about it other than that. Yeah, da 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 da. Dunk, 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 dunk. Dunk, 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 dunk. Hey, Chris, what do you think about your cast members? I only liked one of them, and then I name them. Yeah, da 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 da. Dunk, dunk, dunk.
Yeah, this was driving me nuts. I was sharing
this. What do you think about the director?
Nuts.
He was fine. I could have done it. Yeah, da 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 da.
He was fine. So you're like shitting on all this stuff while wishing to be back in the industry? Is that what he's saying in between this da-da-da-da-da?
Dunk, dunk. What do you think about the director? He was fine. I could have done it. Ya-da-da-da-da. Shunk, dunk, dunk. Dunk, dunk, dunk. Also didn't have fun on Army of the Dead. Ya-da-da-da-da. Shunk, dunk, dunk.
You were replaced.
We did takes for too long, and the fucking movie is probably bad. Didn't ever see it. Ya-da-da-da-da.
Wait, you never saw the Tig Notaro remake of Army of the Dead?
It hurt too bad.
So he was, edited out of that movie. Digitally edited out. Wow, look at that. That was really... You know how much money that cost the studio to do, and then they had to reshoot with Tig? And you didn't watch it? You're too afraid to watch a movie? We must force you to watch the film.
Dunk, 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 dunk. I still have pictures of me in uniform and might post them one day. Ya-da-da-da-da. Dunk, 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 dunk. Wait, Chris, what do you think of the... fuck it. Release the Zack Snyder Chris D'Elia cut. Ya-da-da-da-da.
Whoa, this is a fantasy.
You're a sex addict. Like, you know how if an alcoholic was going through this...
Yeah.
and was edited out from a movie, he would like try to start watching it, and then he'd have to like run to the kitchen and quickly grab like an airplane bottle.
Yeah. I might start using
get
airplane
through.
bottles on the show instead of the
think
big bottle.
so.
What do you guys say about that, huh?
And just like start chugging booze and then like wipe the sweat from his forehead. Does Chris D'Elia like run to the kitchen and start jacking off?
I
Or,
know.
like,
I mean, the
start
sex addiction
texting
doesn't go away. So
people?
how are you handling the sex addiction, which is actually the abuse addiction? You know, let's get that straight. You're not addicted to sex. Sex is a nice thing. You're addicted to abusive sex. It's totally different. You can't just run around. But yeah, what do you do? What does he have to do? And what does Kristen, you know, do they go out? Do they go out to strange cities and strange bars? And Kristen, you know, like she's helping a vampire, you know, where she helps take a girl. And if once a month, Chris goes out to a strange town and they just get it over with really quick in a hotel room. And then Kristen takes him back home while he cries in the back, covered in a blanket. You know, what are they doing to, you know, like a vampire, you got to feed them like pig's blood, right? So that they don't kill.
I stole the movie. Good thing that they cut me out of it. Yeah, da, 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 da.
Ooh,
Dunk,
this
dunk,
is a cope.
Dunk, dunk, dunk. Yink, dink, 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 dink.
Ooh. And it's hard to cover him.
Why don't you read some of the comments on this?
Are there comments here?
Why don't you check it out?
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Maybe if you scroll
Oh,
down.
3-1. Okay.
Fuck. There
What?
was another episode of this where the comments were off.
Oh, he had turned the comments off. On
But
a
now
different
they're back
episode.
on.
Okay,
I
they're
swear
back
to
on.
God, the other day I was watching this and they were off.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you think of the movie? Haven't been the same since Pee Wee Herman died. Yeah, da, 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 da. Young, dunk, dunk. Dude, Pee Wee Herman died. I love Pee Wee Herman. It is so crazy, man.
Is that
if
it?
he did that, respect Pee Wee
Yeah,
Herman, I think he's great.
so.
Okay,
I
there
don't
he is,
think I
Chris
actually
D'Elia.
ever
I
got
hate
through it.
watching this guy. I really hate watching him. This is not fun. Right, I guess we got to do Denny's car crash, huh? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, is that... I'm just trying to see if there's anything else we
Yeah,
should...
well,
Wait, here,
tell
you
me.
should do... Oh, there's so many... How about like
know,
a
this
few
is
more
tough.
little ones?
Yeah, go ahead. Throw them up.
Okay, this is a little one from Jeremy Piven.
Jeremy Piven, this was great. Guess what Jeremy Piven guested on? George Janko's podcast. This was great to see. You know, comedians hate Piven. Jeremy Piven started doing stand-up comedy after his Me Too. I hope I'm getting the timing right. And the comedians hated Jeremy Piven. I remember he tried to come into the Comedy Store a bunch of times and they wouldn't welcome him in. They treated him like shit. I thought he was great on George Janko's podcast. Wait till you see this. We got a house dish. I don't know if somebody comes up. I don't know how much of George Janko's house you guys have seen, but I've been dissing his house for years. This is what's so weird about George Janko's house. George Janko lives in the same apartment that he got when he moved to LA in 2017. We don't know why. George Janko's obviously rich by now. You know what I mean? With all the stuff that he does.
He's gotta be.
Obviously could afford a better apartment. He still lives in this starter apartment. I talked about it. Remember when Chris D'Elia was on the show and went to a party at George Janko's house? I talked about how crazy that was because George lives in a little kid's apartment. It's decorated like somebody's first apartment. It's all white walls. Everything is so blazing white. I mean, you can see it here. Everything's white, white, white. The couches, everything is either a shade of gray, light gray, or white. I mean, it really is bizarre. And they've got, for the podcast, of course, we got to do this to our set one day, is set up cans of something everywhere. This is the new thing these jerks do. Is there anything uglier than this? Is this helping to sell the product? Is this what the companies intended when they said, make sure to get the can in the shot? Did they mean put 100 cans all over the room? To me, that cheapens the product. That makes me think something suspicious is going on. I can't believe all these podcasts are doing this now. I don't know where they got this idea that that's what the brand want. And if the brands do want this, that's fucking crazy. Again, it's cheapening the product. There's nothing cheaper than a Celsius can, by the way. I mean, the design is horrendous. There's writing all over. Each can is a completely different concept as far as design goes. And he's got them all over. Remember, George is sponsored by Celsius. We're going to go to 30 minutes, and Jeremy Piven finally says it.
No, it's right at the beginning.
Or 30 seconds, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. That's what I meant. 30 seconds, because we got the stupid intro, right?
Yeah.
And we don't want to see that. That blows everything. Here's Piven, and this is the first thing that comes out of his mouth.
They pass on, they look after us. I really do feel like he does.
All right. Sir, before we get into anything, you walked into my house and you said, "You don't live here."
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
It feels...
Ooh, and I love how Janko doesn't get it. And he doesn't even get it after this explanation. So Jeremy Piven, star of HBO's Anta, one of the finest shows that O has ever had. And again, I would kill to see the show. Just keep making episodes for life. It doesn't even have to be good. Just keep making the episodes for life. He walks into George's house, and finally someone says it. He goes, "You don't live here, do you?" And George didn't understand what he was implying. Listen to this.
All right. Sir, before we get into anything, you walked into my house and you said, "You don't live here."
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
It feels like we're in the witness protection program, and someone...
trying to be nice.
And I say this with love.
Is it?
No. I feel like everything is matching really well.
That's bad.
And it looks staged. It looks like a home that has been staged to sell. It doesn't
You trying to buy?
I wouldn't
George,
buy...
this is going right over in the stupid Shauna
He
Della
even
Rica.
fist bumped her.
They don't get it. And he's doing the polite way of saying this house looks so cheap and fake and dumb. And he's going, everything kind of match. And what kind of an asshole even says this, by the way? I mean, how rude could you be? Imagine going into somebody's house and saying this to them. And he's saying everything's matching. It looks like the witness protection program. And what was his last comment there? That
Staged to sell.
Staged to sell.
It doesn't
You
necessarily...
trying to buy?
I wouldn't buy this place. No.
Ooh, I love that. I love that.
Sell. It doesn't
You
necessarily...
trying to buy?
I wouldn't buy this place. No, I thank you though.
I get on the phone with him. I'm like, "Are you at the Walgreens parking lot?" He goes, "Unfortunately, I am."
So you make Jeremy Piven go to the Walgreens parking lot by your house, and then what, you go meet him and bring him up to this fucking kid's apartment? This little fucking kid's starter apartment? Come on. I mean, George Janko, let's go. And it doesn't even occur to him. Doesn't even occur to him that a guy like this doesn't want to sit. He's graduated from this apartment 40 years ago. He shouldn't be sitting in an apartment like this.
Like a Walgreens parking lot. I'm like, wait, why? I have to learn how to say no more often.
I have to learn how to say no more. I mean, it's just very rude. I don't know why Janko's laughing.
Circling a Walgreens parking lot. I'm like, wait, why? I have to learn how to say no more often. What am I doing?
It's a circus.
I gotta
out
go
there.
to just like a seminar where they just like show you how to say no.
Right.
Yeah.
But so
Wait,
like
wait, hold on. Just the parking lot and the staged home.
wait, matching
Yeah.
in a bad way or in a good way?
Obviously in a bad way.
Shauna Della Dama.
What an
Like
angel.
matching in a bad. She had just clueless.
She didn't
about
even
this.
know there was matching in
She
a bad
thought this
way.
apartment looked great.
Well, he always talks about how hard she works on it.
I mean, there's nothing to be seen here. The apartment is bare. I've been talking about this apartment, I'm telling you, for years.
Parking lot and the staged home.
Wait, matching in a bad way or in a good way?
Obviously in a bad way. He wants to say no about.
saying you don't have any personality.
No, I'm saying it all feels. I celebrate you, and I love this. It just looks very. You know when things are like monochromatic and they're very premeditated.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's almost like you're what's the word? A serial killer.
I'm a Syrian.
Yeah.
I'm close.
Okay. Nice. Very nice.
He grabs his phone. Yeah, I gotta leave.
I like your perspective. I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
No, I don't
because it
think
means
you
that
should. I don't
it's
think you should
going
take it as
well
that.
together. You know.
No.
I like
No, it
that.
all works.
I
It
think
all
the
works.
lights are throwing you off.
You
and
know,
that's the
No,
serial
you guys
killer.
are
That's a
very
big part of
professional
it.
situation here. I like it. Let's get into it.
Poor
Okay,
girl.
very nice. I love that. Finally, somebody fucking disses one of these sets, right? That's all I'm thinking about. Do we have a
here's
bonus
one more house related.
House related 11140. Let's check that out.
You can. I just thought that it ended awkwardly, but you can show it.
What's that?
You don't have to do this time code.
I don't. Okay, well, what do I do from here?
I put another one in next up.
Yeah, 11140, right? Oh, no, we're done with Piven, you're saying.
But you could show 11140.
Yeah, 11140. I thought this was funny, yeah. 11140.
So George asked some boring questions about spirituality and stuff
it was
for the
really
full time.
pathetic.
Very boring.
It's such a great, fun, fertile premise to talk about, to be a really old white dude still dating. This is how you know you're old. I used to look at a girl in a short skirt. I'd be like, God damn, she's hot. Now I'm like, I wonder if she's cold.
Ooh, that's part of his stand-up.
That's the type of hilarity you will see, kids, at the Brea Improv.
That's one of his jokes.
Let's go.
Yay. Can we end this? I feel like I can't tell if we've been here for 2 minutes or 3 days.
It has been 1 hour and 17 beautiful minutes. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, guys.
And sharing.
That was
After an hour. Can we end this, please? Why would you go on this show? Who is hooking this up? That was great. George Janko. I can't recommend watching that show, but we'll show you if anything good happens. This one was good. Here, another house-related incident here. This one has to do with my old boss, Anthony Cumia. Let's see. He's talking about, now remember, this is so strange to me. Anthony Cumia apparently bought a house. I've seen pictures of it months and months and months ago. He bought a house in North Carolina, South Carolina. What is this? South Carolina? Remember, he's leaving the city. He's done with the city. Yet all we've seen him is in the city.
He's moving to the Carolinas.
One of the Carolinas. But he should have been moved there a year ago. I've seen pictures of the whole house decorated and set up. Was it just staged? I can't figure this one out. Because why aren't you there? Why are you still here is the question. I want you in South Carolina now doing your South Carolina life. Here he is, though, talking about his brand new home. Remember, we saw pictures of this place. It's another McMansion. It's another one of these places where it's, what did he pay? $1.3 million, but for the size of it, it should be $100 million, but it's $1.3 million somehow. It's, what they do is they just build these houses, but they're super big. They've got 100 rooms, but it's all made out of the, cheapest finishes, the cheapest floors. The walls are just plain drywall. And what do you need a dozen rooms for? They cut these places up into these little rooms. This is for somebody who's got a Christian family of 100. So listen to what's happening to Cumia's new house. This is great.
The house down there, my house in South Carolina, I might need a new roof.
Ooh.
The house is brand new. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Looks like...
Free of charge, though, right? Because they messed up the old one?
Well.
I love this.
There's a few problems with the contractor, let's just say.
He went cheap.
And I have retained an attorney because I am not dealing with any of this shit. And the builder seems to have moved to another state.
Yes.
And a roofer came over to check the roof out and went, holy shit.
Yes.
Like this, because this looks like a 30-year-old roof. The shingles look like they were fucking used shingles.
So what's the story?
They look old. There's pitting.
But the house is brand new. I mean, we all saw pictures of it. We saw pictures of it being built from the ground up. Do they do that? They reuse old shingles from old
Yeah, does anyone know what scam they pulled on him?
Yeah, has anyone heard of something like this? I'm very interested in how do you not know that something like that is happening to the home that you're building from scratch?
In them where there's actual pitting down to the paper. And like where the wall, one of the dormer wall of the second floor meets the roof, that angle in there, not anything. There's no flashing. It's literally, and then he goes, I saw they tried to put tape behind it. Like tape. Not even Flex Seal. Yeah. So I'm like, Can anything fucking go right?
Yes.
So now,
What else
I'm
doesn't
dealing
go
with that. Phone calls with lawyers and lawsuits and
Thank God you found out now.
oh, I know.
Like, what would it be, years from now when it starts to leak or something?
Yeah.
Look at the whole studio's busted up too. This thing's been
Also,
broken
does
for
this
2
sound,
years.
like so
It's
crazy?
terrible. Yeah,
It's,
they
like,
got the gate
making my
going.
eyes
They got Hassan's famous gate being used improperly, of course. And then look at this. They've had this broken mic shock mount for the Electro Voice RE20. This thing's been broken since I was at their studio. They cost a few $100, so they won't spend a few $100 to get a new one. It's just been taped up and taped up and taped up.
Does
I don't know if
Garrett
that's a
deserve
bit.
More?
Doesn't seem like a good bit. I'd be very unhappy if there was tape all over my mic stand.
When shit's like real bad.
Yeah.
Well, that's how we found out there was a leak.
Oh, Brett. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There was a leak.
There was a leak, and it was right by a corner of the wall, the exterior wall. There's a corner there in the kitchen. And Missy said, there's water coming out of one of the light switch outlet. Things.
Okay, great. Yeah. It sounded like he was being electrocuted there, right? It sounds like him. I would love if Cumia got fully electrocuted in the new house because of the leak.
I hope his house gets ripped out of the ground by a tornado.
That's so great to hear that you bought another because you needed this giant house. Instead of buying a small house and making it very nice, he'd rather spread that money over a giant. I mean, he can't even walk from one end of the house to the other. There's no
He
point.
wants to be far on the other side of the house from Missy while he plays Call
I
of Duty.
forgot. Yes. And you know what? He'll end up in a small 12 by 12 office in the house playing Call of Duty on a tiny monitor. So what's the point? Always the living room, guys. You got to make your living room the home. Okay.